Another day, another Black Ink Crew lawsuit. No, I'm not talking about Alexandra Estevez suing the show or the shop. No, I'm not talking about the woman who had her chest tattooed at the shop only to suffer keloids and burning and itching, or at least that's what she claimed. And she said that she's now disfigured. No. Now, there's a link below that'll take you to my blog, and then at the top of my blog, there's a link to that story if you don't know what I'm talking about. The woman who got disfigured, allegedly, from her chest tattoo. Anyway, the latest Black Ink Crew lawsuit news comes courtesy of New York Daily News. Be sure to visit them at the link on my blog if you want more information. The New York Daily News writes, and I quote, "Her dream ink turned into a tat-ew." Yes, they literally wrote tat-ew, T-A-T-T-E-W-W. Anyway, back to the story. Loni Tate, 31, said a trip to Harlem's Black Ink Tattoo Shop, which is featured on a reality TV show, ended with her being hospitalized with an infection and permanent scarring. Quote, "I have never been through anything like that," the tattoo aficionado said. The Harlem native got her first tattoo, a large Day of the Dead skull, on her back in 2012. Quote, "I just thought they were cool, and it's a good way for self-expression," she said. Tate said she went to the Lenox Ave shop for her sixth tattoo because she's a fan of Black Ink Crew, the TV show about the business. She'd gotten one there on her arm of a butterfly flying out of a skull. Quote, "I like skulls," she said in January 2014. Quote, "I was very happy with it," she said. But her return trip 3 months later for a custom rose design on her forearm by another artist turned into a much thornier experience, she said. The artist Kelvin Zapata said he had to leave for, quote, "an event" about 3 hours in, and told her to come back the next day so he could finish up, Tate said. She did, and said she was surprised to see he had a tattoo gun already set up when she walked in. They normally open it and set it up in front of you, she said. The red on black and black on red design came out just as she hoped, but 3 days later, quote, "I was in excruciating pain," Tate said. She said she texted Zapata, who told her she'd feel better in, quote, "a couple of days," but Tate said she felt much, much worse. Quote, "I felt like my arm was on fire, like I'd been burned." She said the ink then started swelling and oozing, and Tate wound up getting hospitalized for 4 days while doctors battled a deep infection. Tate said she now believes Zapata used a dirty tattoo pen on her. She's suing the shop for unspecified damages while her lawyer, Mark Sherian, is calling for stricter regulations for city tattoo shops. Quote, "People need to understand that a tattoo procedure is the equivalent of undergoing minor surgery," Sherian said. Quote, "More stringent regulations must be adopted immediately in order to protect the health and well-being of New Yorkers," end quote. This is the third lawsuit brought against Black Ink. Another action earlier this month involved permanent scarring left on the left breast of a woman from South Carolina who asked Black Ink artists to cover up her old unicorn and horseshoe tattoos with fruits and vegetables to reflect her new interest in cooking, Pix 11 reported. Tate hasn't gotten any tats since her incident, but said she will. Quote, "Don't be afraid to get a tattoo, just be cautious," she said. "Make sure the artist opens everything in front of you and everything is sterile," end quote. Black Ink did not respond to requests for comment. Black Ink Crew is scheduled to return for a third season on VH1 in August. The show's website says the docuseries follows the lives of Caesar, Duchess, Sassy, Puma, and Oh Shit as they work, live, party, and hang out in Harlem, end quote. So here's my opinion. Okay, so we're 3 seasons in and there's been 3 lawsuits. Wow, that's 1 lawsuit per season average. That's really, really terrible. You know something? I hope, wish, and pray that there will be cameras in court present if any of these lawsuits make it to court. Now, a lot of the stars of the show, well, actually most of the people on the show, period, portray themselves as animals. You know, they fight and argue about anything and everything. For example, Puma, one of the cast members, started Coon War 4 by dropping a saucy chicken wing on the floor of the shop, provoking Caesar to shove him onto a coffee table. And yeah, this happened in Harlem, New York, the year 2014. If anyone should know better than to act this way, brown people in New York, especially in Harlem, in modern day times, should be the last people on earth to act this way, especially on television. Come to think of it, the only main cast member or supporting cast member I can think of off of the top of my head that never even once gave the camera a bad image to use against him was Caesar's sister, supermodel Tiffany Winter. The only one who came out looking good no matter what. And of course, Caesar treated her poorly on television. And I almost stopped watching the show because of that. Now, when Tiffany was managing the shop, this sort of stuff wasn't going on. And the show was much more fun to watch. Just saying. Had to give her a shout out because she's the bomb. She's that cool. Anyway, Caesar, along with some of the other cast members, also treated former receptionist Alexandra Estevez pretty damn poorly too. When she worked for the shop and co-starred in the show, in my opinion, she was very sweet. So how in the world could anyone treat her poorly? Then of course there was that one episode of the show where Richard Duncan, tattoo artist, oh shit, as they call him on the show, spelled a word in a man's tattoo wrong. Yeah, he literally spelled something wrong in the man's tattoo. All he had to do was look it up on his phone. But anyway, my point in bringing up all these incidents is this. The show doesn't depict the cast in a good light at all. When I saw previews for season 1, I never planned to watch the show. Now, Alexandra and Tiffany were my main reasons for originally tuning in. Other than my family watched the show, so I kind of wanted to know what it was about. Anyway, unfortunately, both of those co-stars left the show. Now, after writing several articles about the show and cast members, I kept watching because there always seemed to be something to write about. Every season. There always seems to be some sort of crazy, ridiculous, over-the-top drama. At the end of the day, I hope that they get things together soon. I really want to see them win. I really, really do. There's a quote, minority business in Harlem. I don't want to see them fail, but it's like, in all honesty, it's kind of hard to root for the villain. At the end of the day, I hope they know that, and a lot of them come across as villains. If you watch the show, it's like, who is it okay? Like, who am I going to allow myself to like? Because some of the stuff that they do on the show is just downright abhorrent. But anyway, this is all my opinion. Let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channels and visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com for more.